Hello, everyone. So I would like to know, who do we have in the audience? So who here identifies himself as a Scrum Master? Okay. Who identifies themselves as Agile coaches? Okay, we have few. Great. Do we have developers in the room? Okay, because we're going to talk about inconvenient things. We're going to talk about controversial things, even insulting things for some of the professions that you just identified yourself with. So please bear with me. So what I'm going to talk about is how to become a full-stack Agile coach. Wow, what does it mean? So maybe we should start with who is this Agile coach anyway? So who is that? Well, some of you identified yourself as a Scrum Master. Maybe you already been a coach in a different company. Maybe you will be in the same or a different. Maybe you've been promoted. I will start ironically. So I see two patterns, let's just say. One pattern is like this. So HR people want to hire a Scrum Master, but they know that they are not going to attract enough people on the market. So they come with what? Job title, inflation. Let's just say, well, in order to attract more people, we need to call this position an Agile coach. Great, that's going to have a great traction on the market. Yeah, so let's do it. The other thing is, inner promotion. Yeah, so we've been talking about feedback. We've been listening about safety and whatever else. Marcin was speaking about performance management. So we know how performance management happens these days. It's basically that once a year, you have a call with your boss, very often now still over Zoom, and the employee is having this cursor, and he or she is wondering what to do. Should I click leave the meeting, or should I click leave the company? But before he or she clicks the second one, there's this message that we really appreciate you. That's going to be this kind of feedback sandwich. We cannot give you more money, so we decided to promote you from a Scrum Master to an Agile coach. Wow, that's for free. Well, and on LinkedIn, it's going to look nice. So these are the patterns or anti-patterns that we see. Now, what do the Agile coaches actually do? Yeah? Well, it depends on your point of view. So if you go for a grill party with your aunt, maybe her partner, your uncle, will imagine something like this. That you actually go to this, skyscraper and you have a tie. We already heard from Marcin also that he never unpacked the ties. Well, we know that people with ties look more professional and a big watch or stuff like this. So if you want to feel better this way, #no judgment. I ask if we have developers in the room because we know that many developers, and for unfortunately good reasons, think about Agile coaches as people who endlessly debate about the right color of a Post-it, even though in Mural or Miro, it's super easy to change them. So why talk about it anyway? Well, you could have the secondary discussion if the 76 by 76 millimeter is better or the rectangle one. Yeah, I'm for the rectangle, but okay, no judgment. So we finally have this Scrum Fleet Academy, people. Maybe you attended one. Maybe you heard an advertisement of one on LinkedIn or Facebook. What Scrum Fleet Academy offers? Well, it's super easy. Money for nothing and chicks for free. Yeah? I don't know about chicks, but definitely money, this is it. Yeah? What we see here on the screen is like the 500 euro bills, like rain falling down on you. Yeah, like you don't need to do anything. Just be. And we have managers. Yeah, we haven't asked if we have managers here, but we have very often hiring managers who were told, or better if they identified by themselves, that they need some help. And they may, for example, imagine this role as a Scrum Master or as an Agile coach, that someone's going to teach their teams, teach their people what is going on, how it should be done, what is this Scrum, what is this Kanban, what is this SAFe, or whatever else that you have found in the job postings. Yeah, probably all these people are to a certain degree right, and unfortunately to a certain degree wrong, or vice versa, depending how you look at it. Now, I want to say one thing. You may be hired as an Agile coach, you may want to be an Agile coach, but there's a big risk that you should be aware of. So the company that hires you, and it doesn't matter if it's a permanent job position or a contract, may not know what they need. Yeah? Remember this VUCA word, this bunny word, yeah? They may not be certain about what they need. And even worse, that could be something completely different than what they hire you for. So that may be something completely different than the HR people are going to list in the job posting. So this drives us into a very stressful and very inconvenient position, because it may look like this, that you've been hired on one day, and luckily not after a year, but several weeks or months, you have some feedback, and you're being asked a question like this. So how is it going on with implementing X? Of course, you can put under X whatever you like. Yeah? The answer could be, well, all good, we are on track. Why we are on track? Because as Klaus Leopold would say, many implementations or transformations are having a form of a Gantt chart. Yeah? So we say, oh, I trained this team, and I explained this, and I've done that, and all good. Yeah? Everyone on the same page. Okay. I would challenge this situation, and I would imagine a better scenario. So a scenario in which the events are like happening in the reverse order. So you're hired on the 1st of May, but before you're hired, you're having a conversation during the recruitment process, and maybe during this recruitment process, someone from the company would ask you something like this. What are you, you or you, once we hire you, what are you going to do if you're going to discover that what we need is not what we hire you for? That's a tricky situation. Because now what comes into play is what? Is our work ethics. So what am I going to do if I will discover that that's not what I'm hired for, what they need? I already have a new car leasing plan. My mortgage installment went up. Yeah? So am I going to be open, ethical, fair to myself and to the company, which pays me quite a lot of money, to say something? Of course, such situation would happen only if we have, I would say, the company which is aware of a trap like this, that they may hire you as a coach to do X, why they need Y. So what I would see even as a better scenario is the same conversation but reversed. So I haven't been yesterday here, but I heard great stuff about the speech about safety, psychological safety. So I imagine that the events could happen in this order. So first, before we hire you or before I will sign the contract, I'm going to ask a question reversed to we. So what are we? Because after signing the contract, it's not me and you, but it's us, it's we. What are we going to do if we discover that what you need is not what you hired me for? That's a game changer, right? Because there may be an awkward silence from the other side, especially if they fall into this sentence. They may not know what they need. And this situation drives us into the 5th picture, which is a very inconvenient picture. Again, today in the morning, Marcin was speaking about anxiety, right? That's not the state that we like. That's not the feeling that we would like to find ourselves in. But this is, I would say, unfortunately, a picture that many people acting as Scrum Masters or Agile coaches or any professionals in change management or change agent find themselves. So all the red words that you probably don't see here well, but it says anxiety, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, even depression. So what if they will figure it out that they don't need what they hired me for? Am I going to be open to speak up? Well, I guess a lot depends on the safety that we've been talking about, but also about our ethics. I will be transparent that I have found myself in this red scenario multiple times in my life. I know now that that's how it's called, anxious achiever, talking about great podcasts. That's a podcast I recommend to everyone who ever felt imposter syndrome or anything like this. Because in our profession, there's many people having this anxiety and self-doubt and imposter syndrome. And it's because we are achievers, because we really care. We are not here for money. But we are here for development, our development, for helping organizations, or at least I wish we would be in a situation like this. So, of course, if we don't want to be overwhelmed by the situation, we need to be open and we need to talk about it. But we also need to look at our skill set and what kind of shape, what shape of coach are we. So many people start with Scrum. So did I. In like, oh gosh, actually here in Krakow in 2007, Tomek Wykowski, who's not here today, he was a project manager, don't tell him that. That was his job title, and he introduced me as a tester at one of the American companies being located here in Krakow, to a thing called Scrum. And I went this way, not at the same company, not in the same country anyway, but I made my first brick, my first block. We could imaginary call it PSX1. Yeah, you've probably seen a lot of people with the last names and PS whatever next to it. Yeah, and whatever we see next is that people specialize in this corridor. View my, what does it say? View my confirmed achievement. You've probably seen badges like this on LinkedIn as well. Yeah, I'm now PSX2, or I'm PS whatever next. Yeah, and we can go this way. And we can go this way just like our colleagues, developers are going. So like, I don't know, if you're an expert in MS Dynamics, that's probably a very small niche on the market, so you specialize it, and it's great. But it may not be what the company may need in the long run. And there's a problem if you have nothing else except this corridor to offer to your company. I said we're going to talk about inconvenient stuff, so we're going to talk about money. Just a few weeks ago, we had air control strike, and people were, outraged that there are people who are earning like 40,000 zloty monthly. I know agile coaches who make equal amount of money, and they have, well, far less responsibility, accountability, however you call it, stress in their work. Yeah? So what comes next is that all these badges make us looking like Chinese or Russian army generals. You probably have seen a picture like this, yeah? On their breast, they have like lots of medals, yeah? That's how we like to see each other. But most of them are something like this. What's on the picture? Driving license, yeah. I've heard that every presentation with some humiliating photo of the author is getting more attraction from the audience. That's why I decided to paste a photo of myself with a richer hairline. What driving license says, it's just about the very basic skill set that you have. Yeah, that you have proven that, well, you've passed the test. You haven't killed anyone during the exam. Yeah, that's probably it. I wouldn't trust a driver with a driving license only to drive a car with my kids or with myself if the conditions on the road wouldn't look like this. That was amazing ride in California, but something like this. So what kind of coaches are we? Are we ready just for the scenario like this? Or do we do anything? Do we build our professional resilience, now referring to Angel's speech just before this one, to also be ready for the other scenario? And the other scenario may look like this, that yes, we start with the same bricks, with the same Lego blocks, that's fine, but we also go wider. Yeah, we go wider, so we go beyond the I into T-shape coach. Okay. It may be that that is all your company will need. Probably that is not everything that you will need to stay an attractive for employees and helpful for businesses person on the market. So what comes next is I wanted to thank to Bartek, who introduced me to this concept, pie shape people, yeah? So like a letter pie. And this consists of at least two, you would say, pillars. Yeah? So we have PSX and KSX. What could K stand for? And then we have this non-violent whatever and this triple diamond design. Put whatever you want there. Yeah? It may be that it's not enough. It may be that you will need to go wider, and it may be that you will decide to go even further. So some people say it's a comp shape stuff, but I don't use this artifact, so I would call it M shape. Yeah, so that's fine for me. So this picture is also fooling you, because I don't believe that anyone can have these pillars of equal height. Yeah? There are limitations to what we can actually specialize at. But it's good to know, and while drawing this picture, I thought to myself, oh my, that would be great to have a CV like this. Yeah? Show visually what I'm strong at, or what I'm broad at. Yeah? Anyone who is like interested in the topic of generalist versus specialist, I recommend the book called Range. Okay, so we have these shapes, and we can identify ourselves, and we can try to drive our professional development path with it. Now, I believe that you probably came for this speech. Give us some meat. Tell us what to learn. So here it comes. So first of all, we need to have a kind of test for something what we call wishful thinking. So if we have only one tool, the picture is totally random, we may find that it does not fit reality. This is why I have this baseball cap with me. You know what it says inside? One size fits most. They had, how is it called in Scrum? Inspection and adaptation. Some years ago, they started printing a different name. Not one size fits all, but one size fits most. And this is it. So there is no one size, there's no one flavor, no one tool that would fit the whole reality. It will fit into some time, it will fit into some products, but the problem is that we very often try to adjust or subordinate reality to the tool that we know. And the worst thing that can happen is that as an agile coach will come and say, I'm sorry, but all you do with this X is wrong. Yeah? You may be right, but there's a deeper question or deeper problem. Maybe it's absolutely okay that they are doing it wrong because they are trying to do the wrong thing. The thing that it's not for them, not for their context. Yeah? Maybe they need something else. And question is, are we capable of offering something else, something different? Another thing from this, I would say, portfolio of problems or challenges is scaling or synchronizing teams. We see a lot of diagrams, again, referring to what Marcin shown, the Ford factory, the simplified picture of the world, that we have teams. And what are the teams? The teams are, of course, cross-functional. Great. Yeah? And what happens with these teams? These teams follow the same pace. Yeah? Great. And if they don't, there's something wrong with it. I'm super happy, referring to good podcasts. I heard there's a good podcast recorded in Krakow, which also recommends this book, Team Topologies, which finally, I don't know, after 10 or 15 years of living with this paradigm that all teams must be cross-functional, and that's it, is saying, it depends. Yeah, maybe we need different type of teams inside one organization. And if I look at all the graphs showing the templates for scaling frameworks or methods, I see mostly those who are focused on one pace of working. Do you know any framework which shows that the team can work with different cadences or iteration length or something like this? Anyone? Okay, maybe that's the problem. The problem is that it's easy to say we should have all teams like this, but we have teams like this, with limited capacity, with limited headcount, with limited availability, with different interactions, with different dependencies, with different length of the time that they spend on something that the customer, not Jeff and Ken, customer defines as valuable. Yeah? And you know what? There's a job market. I work with extremely rich companies which even with their budget cannot find enough people to build only cross-functional teams. Have you seen a company which can have all the competencies, enough headcount for everything? If anyone would not, I would congratulate, yeah? And ask for the name. So it doesn't work this way. Reality is more complex. And reality is more complex, and from us coaches, we need to also be able to explain why things are like this. So I wouldn't trust any Kanban coach who never worked with Scrum. I would never trust any Agile coach who says safe is bad because I heard so. So I went for a safe training. Luckily, it was in London, so after the first day, when I couldn't pull any more hair from my head, I decided to have a nice walk along the Canary Wharf, because story points in hours, I've seen it in one of the posters at this conference, that's not how it works. Yeah? Bottlenecks. Yeah? When we hear bottleneck, we imagine maybe something like this. Is it good that the bottle has a neck? Yes, no? Yes, of course. But many teams are basically constructed like jars. So instead of delivering with a healthy pace things to be digested, approved, deployed, they do something like this. They first do it by the end of the sprint to testers and then to product owners and so on. Yeah? Wow. So theory of constraints. Yeah? Do we know it? Do we know how to use it? We are supposed to, this is even what Scrum Guy says, we should work with the whole organization. And with whole organization, we need different tools, different skills, different practices than the one inside the teams. Another recommendation, amazing guy from New Zealand, I guess, yeah, Clark Ching. Actually guest in, I guess, both cool podcasts that we've mentioned here. Okay, so people are irrational. No, we are irrational. Not the other people are irrational, we are irrational, okay? Cognitive biases. Yeah? Whoever was ever waiting for a bus and invested so much time in waiting that he or she decided not to leave the bus stop is basically suffering from the sunk cost fallacy. Concorde, Berlin International Airport, these were all ideas which had incredible cost overrun, time overrun, and no one said it doesn't make sense anymore. The same happens with our backlogs. So there are two gentlemen who said the backlog should be an ordered list. Yeah, list is one-dimensional list. So I keep seeing product managers or product owners doing this, like let's reshuffle it. Now the green is on the top. Let's have a third iteration. Now green is at the very bottom. Yeah, we juggle the items. Yeah? And why? Because we are anchored with one definition of a product backlog. I'm the smelly Kanban guy, so I say, even if you do Scrum, even if what you have on the right-hand side is your Scrum board, why don't we have a funnel? Why don't we see those things that they never move? Why don't we see the things that they don't move? How long can they stay in there? The problem is that we don't do it because, I'm not saying that you, but I see it in the industry, in our profession, that we feel like if we're going to recommend something from outside of our boxes, our certificates, our achievements, we're gonna, it's like, I don't know, unprofessional. Maybe it's a treason. And one final thing, which is something that probably Paul and Justina will never invite me for again. So you can go for an Agile conference. You can sit in a room full of Agile coaches, and one of them will tell you, this thing, yeah, that's it. Yeah? What we do is we are radiant with this idea. This is amazing. I mean, it's Friday, so you won't have time probably to implement it today or tomorrow, but on Monday you will come to the company and say, look, I've seen this Spoffy Thai company, They do it there, we're gonna do it as well. Yeah, great. One thing that we have in a blind spot here is that practices, frameworks, even culture, especially culture, can be overreach for some organizations and can be false summit plateau for others. That's why I entitled it, If They Have No Bread, Let Them Eat Cake. So people have, their noses underwater, and what we do instead of pulling them out, we tell them, do this or that. They are not ready for it. And it's not their fault. And it's not the fault of the companies, because remember, if you are hired as an agile coach or a scrum master or any position like this, the company probably is already successful. They have customers, they have money, they exist on the market for quite some time. So who are we to say, I'm sorry, you're all doing it wrong? Yeah? That's not how we build trust also from the other side. So I'm super happy that I was so stressed preparing this preparation, because my last speech at ACE in 2013 was a blast fail, that I found this picture. I found it 10 days ago on the internet, so if I would prepare it before, it wouldn't be here. Maybe you've seen it on Reddit. So I can't fly, I can't walk, I can't swim. I'm a full stack developer. Yeah? So question is, who is a full stack agile coach? Yeah? There's probably different dimensions that you can specialize at. You're not going to be great at all of them, but it's good to be aware of your strengths and your limitations and do something about it. Ways of working, yes, waterfall, Scrum, Kanban, shape up, whatever. Scaling, absolutely. Remember that the product has its life cycle. So you must know something about product discovery to say, we don't start with Scrum because it's maybe not yet applicable, or the Scrum is going to look different in the product discovery phase than later. We work now remotely, on-site, hybrid. We need to learn how to do all these things in all these different formats. We need to learn about the tools. There be visualization, David said. No. Someone needs to tell the organization how to do the visualization. So there's nothing stinky about the fact that the Agile coach knows what is the best plugin in Jira to do it. Yeah, we need to know tools. I don't wish you to be an Jira admin, but yeah, there is a space to act there as well. Behavioral economics, strategy, psychology, sociology. Psychology is a very tricky thing because we very often see ourselves as a kind of group therapists. No, that's a serious profession. Yeah, don't try to do it, but be aware of the traps and some heuristics. Metrics and statistics. Again, I so love and hate Marcin's speech today because he started with his fail story, so I couldn't repeat it. And I'm super happy that he included the forecastings and metrics because our brains aren't wired to think statistically. We need to understand it, and as Agile coaches, we need to be able to explain it to people who have 20 years of education with this factory-like way of thinking. Communication and facilitation, something what we call soft skills, definitely. Because approach, you in the green sweater, I'm sorry, you all do it wrong, yeah? No, that's not the way we facilitate interactions. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say sorry later in person. So wrapping it up, which path will you choose? Yeah? How is the shape of your agile coaching skill set today? Which way you wanna go? It's a path, it never ends, so I'm sorry, but I think that's the whole fun in it. And that's it. Lunch is coming. So thank you very much. My name is Radek Orszewski. I work as a, whatever the name is. And if you're interested, many of the things that I referred to are included in Kanban przy kawie. also for non-Polish speakers, because I heard that Paul learns Polish from it. He said if he plays it on 0.5 speed, it's okay. And there are interviews in English, so you're welcome to listen to it. Thank you very much.